Hello and welcome to Toke and a Talk. This is a very special and beautiful conversation that Kendra and I are so honored to have in honor of Veterans Day with our beautiful friend and soul sister, Adrian Romero. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Hi, Mandee. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We're so grateful you're here.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Kendra, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Mandee. So glad to be here tonight and to meet Adrian and to be able to pay some respect to our country and the people who selflessly serve it. Tomorrow on is Veterans Day, so we're just so happy to have you here and just to hear your experience with cannabis and also with the military and anything else that may come up today. But we just love you and appreciate everything you and the guys and gals do that volunteer to sign up to defend the USA. God bless the USA. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. I am just honored to be representing those guys and gals because there's some badass guys and gals. So I just want to share my journey and hopefully, just open some hearts and minds to the truth and reality of service and especially war too, so that's like a different part of it, but I learned a
We honor
lot
that.
from, yeah.
We honor that and we honor you, and it is all so welcome. And whatever's on your heart and mind that you're willing to share with us, we accept with gratitude. So thank you for sharing and for all of your service and for telling us about your journey authentically and what happened.
Thank you. Yeah, so I just part of my journey is my father, Kendra. I know you said a lot of your family members were in the military also. Just growing up with a father that was a Vietnam veteran, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and just feeling their strength. I've always, been an empath growing up also, so I always just felt energy and just feeling their love for their country and their strength. It just really resonated with me. And so in high school, when everyone was, going on their tours of colleges and all that, I was like, nope. I was very dead set. There was no changing my mind that I wanted to serve my country in some sort of way. And then after that, I was like, listen, I can do 5 years, get out, I'll be 23, and then I can go to college, but I was so set on serving my country. So when I was 17, I signed up. I joined the Army as a military police officer. And very, very shortly, like 2 days after my 18th birthday, I was off to basic training. And a month before I left for basic training, 9/11 happened.
Whoa.
So I pretty much knew going into basic training that I was going to be going into war of some sort. And as soon as I got to basic training, the drill sergeants let me know, I remember just this female drill sergeant in my face. She was chewing tobacco and she was like spitting in my face. And I just felt all this chewing tobacco like hitting me in my face. And she's like, "You're going to war." And I was just like, wow, okay, here I am. I'm doing this. Let's do it. Like, it was just crazy.
Wow, it's happening.
It's happening.
You're 18 years old?
Just turned 18 2 days prior.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was.
Well, thank you for choosing that path there,
Yes.
sweet sister.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it was very intense for me from the beginning of my military journey.
Wow.
And yeah, so once I graduated basic, I got stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. So I very quickly had to go there. And then, you know, from jump, they were just training us to go to Iraq. And then pretty much as soon as Bush said go, a month later, my unit was there. And yeah, it was just a very intense experience. And, you know, just when I got back, I didn't talk about it. So it's like now that I'm like more comfortable talking about it, it's intense, you know, to bring back those memories. But I know a lot of the male soldiers that I was there with, they are very still in the grips of their PTSD. And I try to reach out to them and get them to open up, because now I realize that when you don't open up and don't talk about it, that's when it consumes you. Yeah. And, you know, for me, that's when I was drinking all the time and just, I was a monster of a person. I can admit that now. I literally, like, I was abusive to the people around me. And now, knowing what I know, it was because hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I really wish that, you know, when you do get out of the military, some people don't even know that the VA is available. Right. You know, they just kind of move on with their lives and don't even seek any sort of help, which is so sad to me. And, you know, when you do go to the VA, like I was saying earlier, Mandee, they just, all they want to do is push these pills down your throat, you know.
Want to
and
share with us a little bit about that, or like what your experience was, what happened?
Yeah, for sure. Luckily, my father, when I first got out, I think when I first got out, I went through a lot. I was living in New Mexico with my husband, who was also had just gotten back from Iraq. We went to Iraq at 2 separate times. This is my first husband. I'm married again, but I got married 3 days before I left for Iraq my second time. And I truly feel that I did that because the first time I went, I was single. And I was met with a lot of like sexual harassment, sexual assault, anything sexual you want to call it, I dealt with. And so in my mind, I feel like my second time I said, okay, if I have a ring on my finger, I thought it would deter certain things from happening. Mm-hmm. So I really didn't know this guy too well, but I was like, you know what, let's do this. So we got married 3 days before I left. So I left for a year. And about a month before I was coming home, I had called him and he's like, guess what? I just got orders to go to Iraq. So I was like, are you kidding me? So when I flew home, he was flying over there. So we were married and we didn't see each other for over like 2.5 years.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I'm bowing to your soul's journey through all this stuff, my sister.
Jeez.
So when I did get back, I ended up getting out of active duty, but I did 2 more years in the reserve. So I did a total of 8 years. I did 6 in active, 2 reserve. Wow. And the reason I did that is because in the fine print, when I signed up, I didn't know, it says they can call you back anywhere up to 8 years. And that's what happened to my ex-husband. He was out and he got called back. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my full 8 years. So nothing can happen. So when he finally got back, he got hired on by the Border Patrol. So we ended up moving to New Mexico. I moved out there by myself, didn't know anyone. And I really didn't even know him at this point because we hadn't seen each other in like almost 3 years. Damn. And we both had just been to war, and that changes people. Yeah. So he was seriously dealing with a lot of PTSD. He actually witnessed his cousin get sniped in the face and killed while he was over there, his first cousin. So he was dealing with a lot. And I tried my hardest to be there for him, but I was also struggling. So I gave it a year. I told him to his face, I said, I'm going to give this a year. And if you're not willing to go to counseling or do the things that we need to do, I need to be out of here for myself. You know, we were physically fighting all the time and it was just ugly. So I did. After a year, I packed the entire U-Haul by myself and towed my car and drove 4 days to get back to New Jersey.
I've done that. And it was so green and it felt so good.
Yes. Looking back, yes. In the moment, oh my God.
Oh man. You go, girl.
Wow.
And that's admirable. And that is hard. And that is something we talk a lot about when we're talking and just healing and on Sea Goddess, like just choosing yourself and what's best for you, no matter how much you love someone or care about them, knowing when it's not in alignment, when it's not, you know, healthy or good, or you're not working towards that. Everyone has triggers. Everybody's been through hell and back in some way or another, but there are these opportunities to grow and to heal. And sometimes people are ready for it and sometimes they aren't. But so many people do themselves a disservice by not honoring what their intuition and their soul are telling them to do and to choose them in that moment. And like, you know, everything you've been through and whatnot, like that's just incredible that you had that strength and you were able to do that. And I'm just bowing to you, you know, as a sovereign being for choosing, you know, yourself in that moment and sending love and setting healthy boundaries around it. Do it.
Thank you. It was not easy.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking the first thing I thought about Adrian was this is one story. This is one story of one woman who was in war from one country, right? So like my mind's blown. And then you go, you know, you just got a little deeper with getting married the way you did. And then you know, having to pack up a whole U-Haul by yourself and drive 4 states. And are you even 25 yet? How old are you?
At that point, I was about 24.
Okay. So like mind blown. And then I don't know. I just feel like there's so many people right now in this world who are feeling sorry for themselves. And I'm not saying that whatever you're dealing with is minimal. That is not what I'm saying about anybody. I know the struggle is real. The demons up here are real. But like, you know, there's single moms, there's single dads, there's people losing people, but like you're doing all this and you went to war. Like, so like take your problems right now. If you're watching this and you're not in the military, you've never been to war, you're watching, think about your life right now and then throw in there at 18, you go to war. So like, oh my God, like you are amazing. Your strength is just so, it's just lighting me up right now. It's just giving me life right now. So again, thank you. Like, thank you for being here and talking about this because you just made me feel so grateful and grateful for anyone who's been to war for our freedom and our rights and the USA. And it's just so big right now in this, what's going on in the world. So just thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Adrian's a bright light and she's incredible. And I've had the honor to hug her heart many times now. And she's a healer and she's going to tell us all about that later on and the things that she offers and what she does. But us healers, we choose these wild and crazy journeys to take such a close look and to find out and to investigate. And man, has Adrian come up with a wealth of knowledge and experiences that she's now transmuting into offering helping hands and healing hands. And, you know, we met because we were jamming about how to help people and stuff. And it's just really cool. So
That's
as
awesome.
we, listen to these stories and as intense as they are, if you're tuning into this now, hold yourself, hold Adrian, hold everybody who's been through all of this stuff with so much love and grace and ease, and honor their soul's journey and what their souls are learning and discovering and trusting, like we are all about empowering, and it's important to heal from your traumas and patch up your wounds and put on band-aids, but when it's time to kind of rip that band-aid off, we love to help you figure out a balm and a medicine and how to do that and honor the journey and honor what you went through. And so Adrian's been able to do that many times now, and it just, you have so much wisdom and so much heart, and we're just so grateful that you're sharing some of your amazing journey with us, and that your soul, as we believe in this realm on this show, chose to do a lot of that, and we just honor your bright light. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to kind of like talk about cannabis right now, because I know she had said the resources when she got out were pills, and I'm wondering if that's changing now that laws are changing and things are happening in our country, on a state level. Because the military is a federal entity, is that why the resources maybe aren't there, Adrian? Do you think that's it, or do you think it's just the stigma that this is the devil's lettuce, and that this plant is going to bring you down a road of destruction? I'm curious about that. Do you know any like veterans that are being given cannabis?
I personally do not in New Jersey. And that is the struggle that I've been going through also at the VA. I do have certain doctors that I do feel open enough to talk to about my use, or how I use it. I used to suffer a lot from like night terrors, waking up in the middle of the night, just sweaty and having flashbacks. And I couldn't go back to sleep, literally sometimes for days. And I would just, tell my doctor, if I take a puff of cannabis, I can go to sleep. It eases my mind, it eases my body. And they would say, okay, do it, but we can't prescribe it for you. And I was like, why? Like, I really didn't understand why until I really started getting into the system, if you want to call it that, because it is very much a system. And
That's what I call it.
When you go there, it's, the pharmacy at every VA facility I've ever been at is the center focal point. It's like
Everywhere. I know exactly what you're
everywhere.
talking about. I've seen that.
Yeah, yes, it is. And it's like, I see veterans leaving with like shopping bags full of prescriptions. And I think to myself, really, like, this is not like you said earlier, Mandee, it's like putting a band-aid on a gaping wound, and
Is it also is it also because you have firearms? Because like I know in New Jersey, because I was a medical patient, that I couldn't get a firearm. Like,
It's such bullshit. And it
it's
just
all
depends on the
bullshit.
state.
Yeah.
Like, I live in Vermont and Colorado a
You
lot,
can
and everybody
take
gets police
handfuls
have their
of pills.
guns.
Let's take handfuls of pills and drink a Bud Light, and then let's go shoot some guns. That's cool. Like, what? Like,
I know.
none of it makes sense, Adrian. None of it makes sense. And I don't know. I just know at the dispensaries, I met a lot of veterans and they would get discounts. So like, I know that there's that. I just don't understand why there's not a push through the VA to help these people who put their freaking life on the line to use a plant to help them, but they will just shovel drugs that are known to cause addiction and disease and death and divorce and anything you could think of under the sun. I've seen these little white pills destroy many of my friends and their families' lives, and it blows my mind.
Yes.
It makes
From
me
the
just
I know. And thankfully, I've also had that experience with a family member who ended up getting addicted to her Xanax and her Percocets and all her, things for anxiety and depression. So when I first went to the VA and they tried prescribing me all of that, I had the wherewithal, thank God, to say, no, can you please prescribe me something that I can't get addicted to, So that's how I started my journey, thankfully, because I know myself. I am an addictive person, and I know I would have probably gotten addicted to those pills, and God knows where my life would be right now.
Yep.
Or maybe I would be one of the 22 veterans a day that do commit suicide. It's just, it's horrible. It's horrible what's happening. And like I said, it's the system. And for me, I am learning to follow the money, right? And the pharmaceutical
Like, it's not that hard
company.
for us to figure this out, guys. If we really put our attention on. Just saying.
Adrian, I'm a type 1 diabetic. Follow the money. Like, my insulin's like ridiculous. Like, I need 10
Girl.
jobs to breathe. Like, come on. It's crazy.
I know. It
Being
really
the fucking
is.
EpiPen thing where they were charging everybody $600 for an EpiPen and all this shit, and when you can get, like, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the cannabis is a plant. It's so helpful to the environment. You can make concrete out of it called hempcrete. It's one of the strongest materials. And it's a plant. It's a seed. You put it in the ground and it grows. And it's very
from God.
It's very important. It's very affordable.
Exactly. But that's why they don't want it.
Because then it'll take away, let's get real, follow the money. It'll take away big business. People won't be making money in the way we created our little system and the way we all co-created this structure. We're all part of it. Like, yeah, we want to blame the big people and the top percent and all the things, but it's all about how we show up to it and how we allow ourselves. So like Adrian saying, you know what? I'm going to choose a different route. I'm going to see what this does and how this serves me. And then just standing and when each of us just lead by example and we just keep doing what's best for us, we are going to do it. And you know what? I'm going to put some pot seeds in my backyard this summer and see what happens.
Yes.
Because I could grow it in Vermont. I could grow it in Colorado. So Jersey better figure it out.
Yeah. Yes. And that's the other thing that blows
I'll take whatever
mind.
slap on the wrist I get if somebody wants to come and bug me, but I don't think anybody's going to give a shit.
No. And that's the other thing that bugs me is like we have these invisible lines for these these different states that we're in, one nation under God, but there's
indivisible.
There's 50 of us, there's 50 little states everywhere. And like, I can have my medicine in New Jersey, but now in my new home state in Tennessee, I can't get my medicine. It's not legal here. And it blows my mind. Like it just, there's so many little walls up in this system, right, Adrian? In this system that we're in, that it blows my mind. But like the compassion and our human existence and us as the people and just people I talk to, man, that light me up. There's more of us, I think, than there isn't. And it's at this point, my new phrase is it's common sense. Like I'm tired of really saying anything else because it's pointless. It's common sense, all of this. And I'm not crazy, I'm not, it's common sense. So like, if I'm crazy, then, that's just common sense that you're crazy to me, if that makes any sense. But, I don't know. That's just where I'm at. And it's so frustrating. So I understand the resources suck. I knew that I always hear about VA hospitals and how terrible they are. And again, I'm not on the inside like you, but it blows my mind that the VA, one of the biggest entities, doesn't recognize medicinal cannabis for its veterans. I think that that's a big thing And I have a big voice, Adrian. So if you ever need any help or support with a big mouth person, here I am. You call me up. I would love to help you fight with whatever, there might be that we could do, but it's just, again, this is something to me that's it's common sense. Come on, America. This is a medicine. It's a medicine.
Talk about making money.
Be giving it to the veterans for free. You should at least be letting them grow it. You should definitely let them continue to have a firearm with it. I mean, come on, these people have been to war. They've given up their lives. I think they can handle a little plant medicine to help them. It's crazy.
Absolutely. I ended up being admitted into the hospital at one point at the VA. And I actually witnessed, every morning, afternoon, and night when we had to take our medicine, the nurse would call us in and like children, they would watch us take our medicine and make sure it goes down, and totally ridiculous. Like we're 2 years old, but there was this one woman, I kept hearing her say to the nurse, like, this is too much, I don't want to take all this. And they would just tell her, oh, just, this is what the doctor prescribed you or whatever. Anyway, she ended up like passing out, knocking her head. I heard her fall in the room next to me, ran over and like was helping her like come back to consciousness. And that was my breaking point. That was my mind blowing, like, I cannot be a part of this. This is like, they're treating us like we were all women, and we were all there for military sexual trauma. And they were treating us like we were the ones, that were the perpetrators. We were locked in a space, and we had to like I said, they watched us take medicine and took things from us, so we didn't hurt anyone or whatever. But it was just so that was my breaking point. I actually broke out of that hospital.
Good. I'm like enraged right now and inspired at the same time. Like, we got to change that.
My breaking point was when the doctor, I had been there 2 weeks already, not even had one conversation with a psychiatrist, nothing. So when I spoke up and said, listen, I am here for help. I am here for some sort of healing, acknowledgement, something. And I'm on week 2 and haven't even seen a doctor. This is getting ridiculous. So I knocked on the doctor's door, and she answers and like pushes her hand in my face. And I was like, you know what? This is not the place I need to be. I just totally, like, at that moment realized I need to get out of here. This is not good for me. So I called a friend. She drove like 3 hours. It was in Lyons, New Jersey. She came and picked me up, and I never looked back at that point. And when I got home, I was devastated. I really thought that system really cared for me and had my back prior to that. And just witnessing what I witnessed in those 2 weeks, there was women just physically fighting each other in there. And I really feel like they were turning us against each other. It was just a very toxic environment. And that is why I fight so hard now to help any other veteran that I can help by just talking. I'll go to the American Legion some nights if I don't have anything to do. And even though I don't drink anymore, I will sit at the bar by myself and just hope, if it's God's will, that someone comes and sits next to me so that I can just start talking to them and dig into them and try and help. Because even the American Legion, same thing. I'm finding everyone just goes there to drink, and I'm not judging. I'm not judging anyone. Do what you got to do. But I just see the cycle now. I see the cycle of PTSD not being healed because you're being told to take a pill and shut up.
Right. And alcohol is just so accepted.
Yep.
It's just the number and the killer that anybody can go and get. I mean, down here in Tennessee, I can buy alcohol in Walgreens, I can buy beer at the gas station. It's mind-blowing to me. And I've never shared this on the show, but I'll have 15 years of sobriety this January. And so you're talking to somebody who is a recovering alcoholic. I mean, here I am. I no doubt about it. I used to, I never had a problem saying I'm an alcoholic. Like, I was friggin' relieved when they put a name on my chaos and my disease in my head at the time. It was bad. And it still is bad. I don't want to pretend that I'm cured, because I'm not, but I can honestly tell you that if anybody knows, the irony, in having cannabis illegal, but having alcohol legal, it just, again, common sense. It's common sense. And I know that alcohol is a destroyer. And I can honestly tell you that I've consumed a lot of cannabis in my life. And it was only when I was mixing cannabis with alcohol and other substances that I got sick. Since I don't do any other substances and I just do cannabis.
Kendra, you went mute. Kendra, can you hear us? Can you hear her, Adrian?
No.
It's cannabis. I wouldn't be like this.
Now we can.
Dubes, you went a little silent during your talk over there.
Oh, I went off. You missed it.
I know.
Right.
You were channeling, you were high energy, and it interrupted, but you might have to repeat that a little bit for us again.
I'm just saying that it's just, at the end of the day, it's mind-blowing how alcohol is accepted and how cannabis isn't, and how cannabis helps me show up as an employee, a mother, a wife. I take care of my body more than I ever had. I take care of all my illnesses. And, after my heart attack and my PTSD was high strung, and they started giving me the Xanax, and I was popping the Xanax again. Like, I see it. I saw it. And thank God I was able to pull out of that, and that I remained sober, because it's just, it's not the cannabis. The cannabis is not the gateway drug. How about that? It's just, here we are again with the common sense. Alcohol is, it is what it is. It's just something that I've seen it destroy time and time again. It was never the cannabis. But when I was mixing the cannabis with the alcohol and the pills and whatever the hell else you gave me, that's the night. Those are the nights that I blacked out and did horrible things. So I don't know. I feel very passionate about it. And I think that it's amazing that you go into the Legion and these bars to meet veterans. I think that is awesome. Like, that lights me up, Adrian. Like, I would love to join you one time, because
please. I mean, that.
Yeah, like I'm that kind of person. Like, I just remember, like, dreaming, and Mandee she saw me doing this when I was in New Jersey. I'd make edibles, I would make, cookies and whatever. And my dream, it was to have this nonprofit where I would take my edibles and I would deliver them to veterans, and I would sit on the friggin' front porch with them, and I would talk with them, and I would deliver them their medicine. Like that's my dream. Like, I could sit and listen to stories my life, so I'm very passionate about it. But yeah, that was like one of my desires, let's say. It's in my journal. It's one of my business ideas. But that was like my, if you ever came to me and said, what do you want to do? It would be to deliver cannabis to veterans and to talk with them and to be their friend and to let them know that I really do appreciate everything they did. And why not make them a tasty treat that's going to help them deal with their situation, with their life. And I don't know, maybe I just put that out there again. Maybe it's going to come back, but
yes,
they're really, really good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
and made with love and Reiki and higher self healing energy.
Yeah.
It's all, we're planting seeds. It's all happening. And, you know, I'm so inspired, like saddened by what you shared, but I'm honored and privileged enough to work with a lot of veterans and a lot of people who've been through similar things that you've been through. And I just keep hearing horror story after horror story about how we're treated when we're supposed to be healed. And it's just, it's not fair. It's not okay. And if anything happens, you know, with the next generation, I hope that we at least get women held, you know, after this. And maybe we'll have like some really nice things that get built out of after having this conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we definitely need a part two to this show with Adrian because there's so much. She brought out so much. You brought out so many emotions in me too, Adrian. And you know, I just see, I don't know. You're just such a good person and a good soul. And I'm glad that you found cannabis and the way, however you did, which I don't even know if we really touched on that. Like when you first experienced the plant, like how were you introduced to it?
Um, it definitely wasn't until after I was out of the military completely. While I was in, I did have a lot of battle buddies who did partake, and I would always be there and, you know, never judging them. But I didn't even drink until I got into the military. I was just like that goody goody kind of person. But once I got out, like I said, I was drinking very heavily, and I got into like this group of people, and they did introduce me to cannabis. But like you said, I was combining everything at that time. So it was drinking and smoking and pills and this and that. So but then after my hospital stint and when I got out, that is actually when my spiritual awakening happened to me. So then I just saw the light, and including cannabis as my healer. And cut everything else out. I do still take some breakthrough anxiety meds, but they're non-addictive or anything like that. But yeah, most nights I just, to unwind, I use my mama canna, and she just takes away all my nightmares and my fears and just allows me to just relax.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
She shows up. She shows up in those awakenings, doesn't she? And I think that, you know, for me, I stopped using it through my sobriety because I was looked at in the program that I was in that if I did cannabis, that I was, you know, had this relapse, and it was very taboo, and I never thought twice. I literally was clean. I was clean and sober for probably 12, maybe 13, well, yeah, 12 years. And then it was so hard for me. It was so hard for me. Like I just wanted one doctor to give me recognition that it was okay as a recovering alcoholic and as a diabetic and as a heart attack survivor and as, you know, this, that. I had all the labels of all these things that I was, you know, not even realizing like I was Kendra. Okay. I was
Mhm.
Kendra. I had a story. I had traumatic things happen to me through all that, you know, through my diabetes, all the comas, and then through the heart attack. And, you know, like I had those things. You know, and if I finally, like, thank God I had one doctor. All I needed was one doctor. And she said, I think if you think it's going to help you, you should do it. Right? How
Wow.
great was that? How perfect
Mm.
was that? Where everyone else was like, you're going to gain more weight. That's bad for your diabetes. You're going to get this. It's going to do this. You're going to drink. You're going to drink, they said to me. So, like, I am just grateful that my higher power
Mm.
came to me in the middle of the night that night and said, go. And I just went and I listened and I sat with a doctor and I said, you know, at that point I was in so much pain. I think that's where we all get. You're in so much pain that if someone says I will stand on my head in the rain for 3 hours to get this will go away, I'm going to do it. It was like one of those moments. And like now it's again mind blown common sense, because you swear I was going to commit a crime. You swear I was, you know, going to die. And it was so hard for me. I think it's just so hard for people to just say it's a plant. Like it's a freaking, here we are again. Here it's a plant. So I'm just
it's frustrating at times.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, definitely frustrating. So
we are definitely fighting a system that has their own agendas, you know. That's what I feel. They have their own agendas and they're going to keep pushing it until they can't push it anymore. And that's what we have to do. We have to fight back. We have to speak up. We have to stand up. You know, we got to be the change makers.
And that's the thing, man. The truth is the truth is the truth. And the truth is rising and it will always come out. And I was the same way. Little, you know, I've shared this on the show before, but definitely more of like a good kid. And I smoked a tiny bit in high school, but didn't even get high. And then it was because I was on round the clock muscle relaxers and painkillers and steroids for all my injuries. I'd broken my back twice. I had blown out my ankles. I had all kinds of stuff going on. And my brothers were like, why don't you quit all these pills and smoke weed for a month? And I was like 25. And I was like Kendra said, we'll even do anything. And I was like, okay. My life changed and got better ever since. And it helped me become sharper and more aware and in tune with my body and be able to start healing my PTSD and my physical ailments and my mind and overthinking and anxiety and all kinds of stuff. And the same way, you know, it's like it's looked down by so many people in so many different communities. And the same thing in the spiritual world. It's very like, oh, well, if you're not 100% sober or you're using cannabis, then you can't possibly connect with spirit. And I was like, well, I beg to differ in my experience, but you know, like, hey, to each their own. And if you want to judge me for that, like, hey, that's cool too. Like, we all have our own little missions. And for me, could not turn my back on Mama Canna anymore because she fucking rocked me back to life and healed me. And I felt like I was keeping this dirty secret of like the best friend that healed me and helped me. Yep. And like I always say, if it falls away one day, it falls away because it did its job. Great. But like some days it's more than some days it's less. It's different, you know, ways. But man, do I not have, like, I get out of bed and I dance now when I couldn't even walk or get out of bed and I was like bedbound forever. So, and like I had chronic, you know, fibromyalgia and all kinds of stuff. And it's just amazing what it can do. So I'm a big advocate.
Yep.
You gotta keep advocating.
Yeah.
So Adrian, we're definitely going to have you back for part 2. No doubt about that. Is there any other little story or something else that you wanted to share tonight in closing? Anything else on your heart and mind?
I would just like to say happy Veterans Day. You know, I'm already going to get emotional, but tomorrow I'm actually going to a local veterans park for a ceremony. I'm going to be part of the firing squad. And I'm just excited. You know, Veterans Day always brings up a lot of emotions, good and bad, but you know, it's what we need, you know, and just to share in the other presence of, I love hearing stories too, you know, so I love to just connect with the older veterans and hear their stories. So I'm just super excited for tomorrow. And I just want to say happy Veterans Day to everyone out there. And we got this, you know, never give up. Your story is always, you know, please reach out to someone, tell them your story. You're not alone. You're never alone. And please reach out to me if you need to. I have a YouTube channel also, Mandee. I don't know if you knew that.
All right now. Tell everybody your magic in the world, how to get a hold of you.
Yes.
Like lay it on the altar.
On YouTube, I go under the name of Mystic Rose. I just started my channel just to share my spiritual awakening journey. And I would, if you would want to reach out to me, please reach out to me there. My email is ALO_armygirl@yahoo.com. Any way that I can help, please reach out.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your incarnation in this lifetime. Thank you for, following your soul's journey. Thank you for sharing your light and your words and your experiences, because so many others have unfortunately been through it too. And, so many of us, not one of us has the same story, but so many of us have very similar wounds and are looking, for other people or other experiences, just to know that they're not alone. And so thank you so much for sharing as much as you did with us. Like, we really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mandee. You're an amazing soul, and I'm just so grateful to call you a friend. And now I have a new friend too. So I'm just so grateful for you both. Thank you so much.
It is such an honor. Also, so if you are tuning in, you're here at the end of this Toke and a Talk. Please give us a like, give us a follow. We are on SeaGoddessHealingArts.com, and we're going to be having our own new Toke and a Talk page coming soon for things. And if you want to be a guest on this show, or if you want to recommend one or have an idea of something for us to talk about, shoot us an email. We have a Gmail set up, tokeandatalk@gmail.com, and we would love to connect. So thank you, Kendra. Do you have anything else you want to say tonight before we close out?
I just want to thank you for getting us this wonderful guest, and for everything that you do, Mandee. You're just, I don't know, you light me up. So thank you. And thanks to Adrian for her service. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. I don't know. I can't express my gratitude enough, I feel. But I definitely will be watching whatever I can tomorrow to see services. I want to thank my cousins and my uncles and anybody right now who might be watching this and might want to tune in and check this out right now, this episode. If you can, I want to thank you to let you know that I appreciate your service and everything you did and do. And just, Adrian, just thank you for showing up and being a voice of being the truth. And sharing that truth with us. I think a lot of people don't understand that, just that there's room for change, and there is hope, and that there is an answer, and that things do need to get fixed. And, not saying cannabis can fix everything, but it's a start.
Absolutely.
It's a start. And, if I ever when I get up to Jersey, if I could ever hang out with you at the Legion, I would love to make that happen. So
Yes, please.
Oh, we're gonna do an in-person thing. It's been such an honor. So I just want to thank you both again. Thank you to all of our listeners. Happy Veterans Day. I just want to say thank you, and I'm sending love and peace and gratitude to every soul and every being who has been affected by war in this lifetime, in other lifetimes, in all dimensions. And I ask that, it be cleansed and sent with love and light and peace. And I light the peace pipe, and I send gratitude. And we will all tune in with you soon on the next episode of Toke and a Talk. Bye.
God bless the USA.